On this episode, we're going to work on the padding for the back of the seat. This is the old padding. This piece goes like that. This piece went like this, kinda. And this is the old horsehair that went in the middle. We have, wait for it, new horsehair to go in the middle, and we have new felt. So the first thing we're gonna do is make new ones of these. This is the felt that came with the seat kit. It's pretty thick. Let's say about 1/4 inch right there. This is the old felt, okay? And what I have to do is I have to make one of these out of this. This is also stuffed with the cotton wadding or mouse nest. So what I did is I measured, how long is this? From here around to the seam is 9 inches, okay? And what I'm gonna do is cut this 9 inches. I have my square lined up here, and I'm gonna draw my line to cut right like that. There is my 9-inch line. We'll cut that. Here's my piece, 9 inches this way. This piece I measured from the seam around to the seam 5 inches. So I'm gonna measure in right here 5 inches and make another line. Okay, here's my 5-inch line. And what I'm going to do is fold this over, line it up with the line, and I'm gonna sew it, just like that. So here you can see my new seam, okay? Yes, I pinned it first to hold it in place because that's what my grandmother taught me to do when she taught me how to sew. There you go. Here's our padding, our felt, that is sewed. And so now it's a circle, like that. And we have to stuff it with cotton wadding. So I'm going to stuff a lot of cotton wadding in here. That's probably gonna take me quite some time. Now, of course, my finger's not long enough to get it all the way in there, but I have an extra piece of wood I made for the bottom of the seat. Oh, look, it just fits in there just right. So I can pack this really good, which is what I'm gonna do, and then we'll come back and see what it looks like. So what I did here is I measured the old one, and it came out to about 20 inches, 19 inches. So I measured from the end to 19 inches, and I put a little mark, it says 19. Well, I went a little bit past that, and now, you wanna know how much of this did I stuff into here? As much as I could. And how did I do that? I'll show you real quick here. I grab a bunch of wadding, stuff it in there, then take my stick and pack it in. Tight, okay? This is pretty firm. And let's see what it's gonna look like on the seat. Here's the old one that was like this on the seat, okay? Here's what we just made. And it's gonna go, I want the seam to be on the metal. So that's gonna go about there and wrap around. And I made it too long, so I'll have to cut it at probably right there. We'll figure that out in a minute. But that's how that goes. And then the seat horsehair goes like that. So you'll have a little bump here to hold you into the seat. And the tail that we made is going to be glued here like that. And that'll hold it in place when we put the horsehair in. Okay? There you go. Look what we made. That was so much fun. Let's go make another one. Well, not only did I make another piece, I glued this one on. Let's take a look. Notice it goes all the way to the back of the seat, comes around, all the way to the bottom, right there. And what I did is I took some little pieces of felt and put them in here to fill in the gap. I also put another little piece up here. We'll see how important that is when we put the leather on. Okay, let's do the other side. Okay, we're gonna put this side on. I applied glue here, and around the inside lip. And I also applied glue to this. The top isn't full, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start at the bottom. And I'm just making this up as I go along, folks. I'm gonna start at the bottom and try to work this dog leg in and stretch. And you see it's not in far enough. That has to get way in there. And stretched around. Like that. Now to hold this there, I'm going to try this. A couple of little pieces of wood and a bigger clamp maybe. Just to hold that corner. This seems to be holding pretty good. And I'm stretching the felt around. Now I'm at the top here. It has to go this way. So I'm gonna have to cut that right about here, okay? I cut this much off with my trusty scissors. I'm gonna stuff this in here as best I can because it's pretty tight, and hope there's enough sticky on there to hold that like that. Oh, so far so good. Okay, now the last thing I'm gonna do, if I can turn this maybe, is I have to cut a V out of this and match up that seam. Let's see how that works. I cut the V out. Now let's see if we can stretch this down like that. Let the glue hold it in place and see how my seam matches up. Well, that's not too bad. Okay, what I'm gonna do off camera here is I'm gonna trim this to the edge of the wood, and I'm probably gonna add some material in here and down here to the edge of the wood. You can't see that. There. I'm going to fill in this space and bring the felt to the edge of the wood, and also down here and bring the felt to the edge of the wood. So there's our top corner, and there's the seam we cut, and that's pretty smooth. So when the leather goes over it, it should be smooth. So here's the inside of the seat and the outside of the seat. All we gotta do now is put the horsehair in. This is the horsehair, the old piece and the new piece. I'm gonna take the old one and lay it on top of the new one. Lines up. I have to cut it like this, okay? So let's do that. Where's my scissors? Here we go. Yes, I started to cut it. And I'm just going to cut this down here to about here. I already cut to here, but now I'm going to go down to this point and I'm going to cut it here and to here. Like, okay, now I have 3 marks. I don't need this anymore. So I'm just going to cut away now. There's that one. Done. With the horsehair cut, let's see how it's going to fit in here now. Well, it's obviously a little long on top, so let's try this by putting it in the top first, like that. And oh, we're gonna have to cut a little bit more here, I think. Okay, I have to cut right about there off. That looks better. So we have this tucked in all the way around here on both sides, okay? Because as you can see, it's a little bit deeper, okay? And we'll see how it looks across the top. That's not bad. That'll get pulled in. And I am not going to trim this. I am going to leave that like that. And I'll explain why a little bit later. But I am concerned that I'm a little long on the bottom because the new seat has to wrap around like this. So what I did is I measured the old one, and I have 19 inches from the top down to the bottom. This one is measuring at 20, so I'm just going to trim about an inch off the bottom. Here's the inch that I cut off the bottom, and I put it back in here and tucked it in, and I think I'm pretty happy with the way that this is looking so far. Okay, one other thing I did, I don't know if you can see down here, there's the looks like a coat hanger that the springs are attached to. I cut a slot in the bottom of the horsehair, so when this is pulled tight, it'll split around. Get it from the back. It'll split around that spring coat hanger piece like this. Okay. Now there's one other thing, and that is this. This came with the seat foam kit. This is going to go right here between the springs and the horsehair to give me a little bit more lumbar or back support. I don't know what your lumbar is, but it's going to be a little bit firmer in the springs. I took the horsehair out. I put this square in here, okay, for that little extra padding. I don't know if that's where it is intended to go, but you know what? That's where I'm going to put it. Now, before I put the leather over this, I'm going to get a clamp, and I'm going to clamp this spring all the way to the back of the seat and take the tension off the springs. That way, when I'm done putting the leather on, I can release the clamp, and the springs, just like the seat cushion, will pop up, puff up, pop up, and hopefully take the wrinkles out of the leather. Let's see what that's going to look like. Here's our clamp. And put that right there and start clamping. And there we have it, snug. Okay, Now I have a lot more room to push the leather in. I have the horsehair in place where I like it. It's tucked behind the felt rolls, okay? Now we would put the seat leather on. I am going to do one extra thing. This is the leftover felt that I didn't use. It just happens to be the exact width I need, 16 inches. I'm going to put that at the bottom of the seat, right here, line it up there, okay, and come over here, tuck it in behind the roll to hold the horsehair in place, just like that, okay. Then I'm going to fold it back on the back of the seat and give me that nice square top for the seat back. Here's another angle, the felt coming back like this, and what I'm going to do is pull this to there so the horsehair is in about the right place, and I am going to glue it to the top of the seat here. Okay, so let me get out the glue. Okay, that glue has to get tacky. I think we're sufficiently tacky. So I'm going to hold this right about there and just bend it over and see where it comes out. Like that. Then I'll get my little scissors here and trim it even with the back of the wood. There we go. Here's the leather seat back. Let's put this on here for its preliminary fit and see how it comes out. Now, one thing I haven't done yet is this flap here has to be slit down the middle to go around that coat hanger spring thing. But for now, we're just going to tuck this under, tuck this inside like that. See how the top is going to look. Let's take a look at the seat back because everybody's going to see it. And we want an equal distance here. I got a bump right there. We need an equal distance here. Let's see how that's going to look once the back is tacked down. That looks to be about the same as we go across. The one thing that we have here is maybe a little bit of stuffing we need there. And right here, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that right here? Right here, there's a bump. You see here and here, there's a bump. Guess where we need to put a piece of felt. I don't know how this is going to work. I have to spray some glue in here. So I'm going to use this piece of paper. Like that. And we'll wait for that to get tacky. Oh, maybe I need a little shot right there. Okay. Well, I hope we're sufficiently tacky. Let's start with the point right there and see how this is going to fit in here. Okay. Find my trusty scissors. And I need to cut a little bit off of here. Just a little bit. And a little bit off of here. And now, hopefully, that's much smoother. You know, this episode's running kind of long, so we're going to come back and finish this seat up in episode 8. Stay tuned.